In 2017, when I took the LSAT and applied to law school, free video explanations were the reason that I was able to improve on my weakest section and eventually score a perfect 180. But there's no comparable source of free video explanations available for everyone today. Let's talk about why. But first, let me tell you what I had at my fingertips in 2017. So in October of 2016, my parents gifted me the Power Score Bibles for my birthday. And I bought used copies of the 10 actual official prep test series by LSAT for about $5 to $10 each. I began studying, but the sense eliminated logic game section was my Achilles heel. I failed to finish on my first official test. So I turned to the internet, and that's where I discovered 7Sage, which had free video explanations for every logic game ever written. So I used their foolproofing method, took every logic game written up to that point 4 to 10 times, bought 7Sage's paid course along the way as a way of thanking them for all the free explanations that they'd given me, and then I took and blind reviewed most of the practice tests disclosed up to that point in full. This paid off. 7 months later, I scored a perfect 180 on the September 2017 LSAT, and then I earned a $50,000 per year Dean Scholarship to the University of Michigan Law School. At the time, the LSAT felt to me like the ultimate meritocracy. Using affordable resources like used copies of the Power Score Bibles and the 10 official LSAT series, which ended up costing less than $1 per test, along with free video explanations available to anyone online, I'd rewired my brain to reason more logically. And I was rewarded with a very affordable legal education. But by 2019, while I was still just a 1L in my first year of law school, the landscape had shifted. The Law School Admissions Council, LSAC, is the nonprofit that offers the LSAT. They have a stated mission of advancing law and justice by promoting access, equity, and fairness in law school admission. And they threatened to sue 7Sage unless they put those free logic games explanations, which were indispensable to my improvement, behind a paywall. Because, taking a portion of a test that could be prepared by anyone for free and hiding it behind a paywall where only those with money can see it really advances law and justice by promoting access, equity, and fairness in law school admissions. Now, 7Sage had been very careful with those logic game videos not to directly violate copyright. They'd used symbols, they call it logic, in their video explanations, and they never said the full video explanation. They just translated it into the symbolic logic, and they never put up the words of LSAC's problems online. So they thought the case was frivolous. But 7Sage couldn't afford a legal battle, and more importantly, they couldn't afford to risk losing their business relationship with LSAC, which let them license official questions for 7Sage's paid courses. So 7Sage was forced to comply. That wasn't the only time LSAC restricted free videos. In 2020, when COVID halted in-person tutoring, LSAT Wizard, a private tutor, created a free LSAT course with the Law School Admission Council's initial approval. But once completed, LSAC withdrew consent and threatened legal action if he didn't paywall his course and pay them their cut. Around the same time, the Law School Admissions Council agreed to eliminate the logic game section. This left only LR and RC, the two sections where it's most important to have the actual words, which are protected by copyright, from the test in order to teach. Meanwhile, the LSAT transitioned to primarily online testing. And instead of using this as an opportunity to make practice tests available freely to anyone, LSAC imposed a $120 annual licensing fee for students to access practice tests via LawHub. And then on top of that, to add insult to injury, LSAC forces LSAT prep companies to then pay additional licensing fees to LawHub for each student that they teach, and uses non-disclosure agreements to block the prep companies from telling students what cut of the money is being passed through back to LSAT as tribute. Now, to be fair to LSAC, they do have a fee waiver program. So if your family income is close enough to the poverty threshold, they let you have 1 year of access to questions for free, and they also will let 7Sage give you 1 year of free explanations. Actually, 7Sage charges $1 for that 1 year of free explanations if you have a fee waiver. But this is an incomplete solution to an unnecessary manufactured problem for two reasons. First, people who make the biggest improvements on the LSAT routinely take longer than a year to study, so they run out of access to questions via LSAC, and then 7Sage wouldn't be able to provide them free explanations anymore because they have to license the ability to use the questions from LSAC, and LSAC requires you to have Law Hub in order to let 7Sage teach you. So that's the first problem. It could take longer than a year to study. And that could be especially true if you have school or work or family obligations taking up a lot of your time. And it's a bad strategy to sacrifice your GPA in undergrad just so you can finish your LSAT prep quicker. The second problem is that a lot of people who are middle class and don't meet LSAC's poverty threshold for getting the fee waiver still are not willing to pay, for a monthly subscription to get to video explanations and pay that $120 fee to Law Hub on the off chance that it can improve their score. They want to wait to see evidence that it can improve their score first. So given all of that, what can we do to restore the near meritocracy that I experienced? Well, by now there should be free video explanations to every LSAT question on platforms like YouTube. Test prep companies and independent tutors, including myself, would gladly post free content. Now, we wouldn't do it as altruism. We'd do it as a form of advertising. Just as I purchased 7Sage's course after using their free logic game explanations, students who started learning from free video explanations from tutors would turn to us when they needed more personalized help or wanted to progress a little bit more quickly. And for those who couldn't afford paid content, the free explanations alone from various creators would let them progress. So here's my plea. Contact any college or graduate school that you've attended. Ask your friends and family to do the same. And tell them to stop using standardized tests that restrict study resources through copyright claims. Just because you have a valid copyright claim doesn't mean you need to enforce it. Demand a true meritocracy, not just in law school admissions or in the LSAT, but in undergraduate admissions on the SAT and the ACT, and for other graduate programs as well. Push for old tests to be made available online for free. And demand that standardized test copyright holders let people post free explanations to real questions on platforms like YouTube. The next time a school requests alumni donations, tell them that you're not going to donate until they adopt tests that are accessible to everyone. Tell them that you want a meritocracy. And in the meantime, I'll do what I can to demystify the LSAT for free on this channel without breaching the Law School Admission Council's copyright claims.